Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about why it is important to develop and grow yourself to the best version of yourself that you can be and unleash your full potential. So there's many reasons for this, and for the sake of time, I'm just going to be focusing on one very extensive example and reason, and relating it to the dating field with men and women, or women and women, men and men, if you're not straight. Anyhow, here's the message. One big reason for why you should focus on developing yourself and becoming a very awesome person and becoming unique as a person is so that you can find someone who's who you really connect with and therefore establish a deep bond. A lot of guys and maybe some girls are looking to maybe trick someone, manipulate them, or put on a false pretense of who they are, or do whatever they can to establish maybe a hookup with a girl or guy, or change themselves for a short amount of time in order to uh, court a girl or guy, to convince someone to like them or be with them. And the problem with this is you're constantly in this mentality of please, 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 and jumping through hoops and all sorts of uh, circus tricks in order to get this done. And the problem with that is maybe it may work. There's a lot of problems with that. The first thing is maybe it may work in the short run, and maybe like every now and then, every swing of the bat, you may be able to make it work. Heck, sometimes you may even be able to just be yourself and find a girl. Problem with that is, well, what makes you unique and special to the point where someone else likes you truly for you and will not cheat on you for someone else? Imagine it from the other person's perspective. They've met you, they like you, maybe you've become boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever it is. For them, they could be like, well, that's great and stuff, but I'm getting approached by all these other potential people, and they're just as good looking as this person. They are maybe just as good in every other area. Well, what makes this person special? Why should I stay with him rather than just choosing any of these other people? And so it really makes you think. And when it really comes down to is a value system. And I think it's a summation of a lot of values. So this is everything added together and taken into account. How physically attractive you are, your personality, your interests in common, your chemistry, your friendship. All these things add together to put up a score for how people assess each other. And therefore, it works both ways. All these guys are coming up to this person oftentimes because maybe they are physically attractive, so they're seeing value in that. That girl may be interested in you because maybe you don't have a lot of physical attractiveness. Maybe you are ugly and you have a deformed face, or you wear glasses and you're pretty nerdy and geeky and you don't have a good fashion sense because you're poor. And so you're scoring low on a lot of those other categories like wealth and looks and stuff. And the flip side though is that you have a stellar personality that just clicks well with her personality, and you have a deep friendship and a lot of experiences together, and maybe you're a bit sassy and it works well with her personality, and it just blows up because no other person is like that, and it really works well with her emotionally. And so that adds a huge amount of addition to your scorecard in a way. And so kind of like how business works, it's an exchange of values. And so if a person sees no value in you when summing up everything they can assess, that can be a problem. Now, how the word works is, though, that personality and stuff like this cannot be completely assessed initially upon meeting a person. A female, especially, has a lot of genetic traits that may help you in quickly snap judging a person based off body language and so forth, but it's not perfect and it's not flawed, and the best system cannot tell you if a person is a virgin or a person has exceptional personality. Not saying that a virgin is good or bad thing, it's just pulling something out of my head. A person has a good personality that clicks with you, or a person who is really rich or is just renting this sports car and buying all these clothes through debt. And a lot of people fail to assess that properly, and a lot of people do a lot of things wrong. They put way too much value on how physically attractive a person is, and then they put that into a serious marriage, and then it's like, well, she's very physically attractive, but that will age in time. You'll be one day things will sag, and then you're left with this girl or guy who's like complete mess, very toxic, complete mess with finances, no money, no job, lives in a basement, all sorts of problems. So that's just an extreme example, but you can see how this works. And the general idea, though, is it is exchange of value systems, in that a person has a general idea about their own value. Oftentimes it's assessing it is very similar to a business or marketplace in certain ways, where they kind of assess it off the marketplace, how often they're approached, how many times they're courted on a weekly basis, or how they perceive their own value just based off social circle, or how they physically look, how many achievements they've made, how much money they've made, and so forth. And this is why you would see a lot of people who have a scorecard, and by scorecard I mean summation of all those values: physical attractiveness, achievements in life, personal developments, how great they are as a person, and they'll use that value system, and they'll kind of think, well, I want someone at least up on par with my level. And that's why you see a lot of people with equal value, actors and actresses together, singers and rappers together, things like this. Not always, though. And again, it's very interesting, because a lot of people, like, they'll kind of be oblivious, and they'll see these things on YouTube about gold digger pranks and stuff like that. And it's partially true in that it is something that you should kind of be mad about, because you don't want a person who only likes you for your money and then divorces you and takes all your money and is a horrible person in every other way. And I mean, you get situations like that where it's kind of like that, and you like them only for their looks, they like you only for your money. It is somewhat of an exchange of values. Hey, it kind of works for people like Hugh Hefner and Dan Bilzerian, and they seem pretty happy. So again, I think it's just a subjective thing. Like, it can work for you, and I do think a lot of people point the finger at me or other people, like, oh, how dare you? How could you do that? But I think it's, I'll leave that for other people to deliberate on. But what you see here essentially is an exchange of values. And if one person does not see any substantial value in another person, then it's kind of like, well, that's not going to work. And on top of that, a big thing, though, is trust in a relationship and someone cheating on you. That's a huge one. If someone's cheating on you, or you don't know if someone's going to cheat on you, then that's a huge problem. You really have to really have to sit down and think, why does this person like me? Why can I truly trust him not to cheat on me, him or her? Especially when you establish a serious or semi-serious relationship, because it's like, well, especially if this person has some level of value, whether it's in physical attractiveness or whatever, he or she may be courted a lot, or be in a lifestyle where there's tons of eligible bachelors or bachelorettes that they have to interact with constantly. And the thing with this is, that makes you ask, well, what makes me special? What if he or she runs in a person who is on my level in a lot of ways? Same level of looks, maybe even better looks, same level of financial achievement or whatever. You really have to, like, when you tear away the layers, there may be just a few thin or maybe strong strings holding that connection together. And that could be chemistry, deep friendship, or stuff like that. Or you may find that you have none of it. It's like you just met this girl, you thought she was hot, she thought you was hot, you hooked up, and then you realize, heck, we just established some sort of serious, kind of serious, but we made it official that we're boyfriend and girlfriend. The problem is she's headed out to nightclubs or bars every night, and she's meeting a bunch of all these guys, and they know her value because she's very attractive, and she doesn't know your value because she's probably going to find a bunch of other guys, and from what you can tell, the only establishment of value that she has in you is your look so far. And you can bet your ass that there's going to be more attractive guys one day or other that are coming up and hitting on her and courting her. So then, like, what truly stops her from cheating on you? Especially when she's placed in a scenario where, or environment where she knows 99 times out of 100, there's a very low chance that anyone will find out that she cheated on you. So that sort of stuff really has to, you have to take that into account. And I think a lot of people don't realize this. And it's one of those reasons where good-looking guys, you know, they still may not do well with women. They may have model looks, but they still may not do exceptionally well with women. I mean, there's a lot of other reasons, like your personality, your game, how shy you are. That's a huge one. But that's the general idea, and I think it's very interesting to think about. It is rather unfortunate, which I think generally it is more fulfilling to have some sort of non-physical reason for establishing a bond with a person. It's more fulfilling because you know it's not something that can be easily copied or easily had by anyone else, and therefore you have more trust in that person, and you really feel fulfilled because they really like you for you. And again, just as a little conclusion to this, it can take time to establish who you are as a personality and really show your true value. Now, a lot of people are fools and they don't really take the time to really assess you properly. Other times, it's just naturally, personality is something that will take time to be shown to another person. So it's kind of like, well, how open are you? How shy are you to talk? And you can't just say hi to a person and expect them to not just to understand you fully and where you've been, what kind of person you are, and your full personality. And a lot of guys or girls, they'll just be very shy. They'll be like, "Hi, how are you? My name's Will," and then they don't get a favorable response, and then they just leave, or they just get rejected. And it's like, well, you didn't bring enough time to establish your full personality in that mix. So another possible piece of advice is to put yourself in places where you can bring about a full personality exchange with that person so they can really start to know you. Whatever that is. Maybe it's a Dungeons and Dragons or a trading card game, weekly club meeting. I don't know. Maybe that's not the best thing. Maybe like a spin class or yoga class or something like that. Art and craft. Anyhow, keep those things all in mind, and remember, things can be changed. You can change your value by developing yourself. Personality-wise, I don't think that means like completely warping yourself. It means keeping your you can keep your foundational personality and interests, whether it's video games and so forth. I mean, oftentimes it's better to embrace those things. You can be that unique guy who embraces the fact that he loves League of Legends or this certain video game, and he embraces that and he shows that to the girl, and he's like, "This is me. I like how I am. And personality, I think, really comes from really just being alone with yourself and finally coming to terms with who you actually are, and understanding fully who the world may see you as through the least colored, rose-colored eyeglasses as you can. So the objective, being able to completely understand how the world sees you from their perspective without knowing you, and fully just embracing that and owning it and establishing it. How, and a lot of comedians do it very well. They finally fully embrace who they are as a person, really understand how other people perceive them, and accept it and come to terms with it, and then own it and accept it and really use it and play off of it, and are really sassy because of it, and are not insecure or shy because of it. A lot of comedians, Kevin Hart does it really well. He's short. He embraces it. He went to like a convention one day with a bunch of midget bodyguards as a joke. Chris Tucker as well. He's kind of that skinny guy. He's not buff. He plays off of that stuff. A lot of comedians do it well. They may be fat, they may be obese, they may be just not that attractive, maybe ugly, but they work on it. They use that, they embrace it, and it may take a lot of time, just alone time, just coming to terms, and finally, maybe it depends. It varies from person to person. For you, it may just be having a good cry for a week or so, and then finally embracing who you are. It's not a one-day thing. I mean, some people, like, there's motivational speakers like Sean Stevenson, or this other man, I think his name's Nick something. Sean Stevenson, he was born like 3 feet tall and a little bit disfigured. And he has an amazing personality now. That's going to take time to recover and heal from and accept. Especially throughout a ton of bullying when you're in your childhood. It's the same thing with the other motivational speaker, Nick. He was born without arms and limbs, and he admits that he went through a hell of a lot of bullying, pain, suicidal thoughts, suicide attempts, and now he's become this great motivational speaker who's really come to terms with who he is, has a wife, all this stuff. So if he can do that, I mean, I'm sure you can find at least one girl in your life. So don't give up hope. I know I'm still struggling through it. I'm not just some guru raining down advice. We're all just working through it, making ourselves better. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys in my next video. As always, like, favorite, comment, subscribe. See ya.